Sports Buffet is back. Although we don't have much sports to talk about, we'll still get it popping for as long as we can. Quiet Giant, Matt's back in the building. Matt, how you holding up?
Good, man. How's it going?
Good. So New York City schools are officially a wrap for the end of the year. You were hitting me up trying to get some, first off, I got my Easter Pink Women's World Cup hat on. Shout out to them.
Big fire.
Got to show some love for them. I think this was probably like a 12-year-old girl's hat that I found at Goodwill that I'm just, rocking it proud. I've wore it out in public. So
it's cute.
Doesn't really like fully fit my head, but it sort of does. But again, I never washed it. It's probably for like an 8 to 12-year-old girl that.
Well, you're a girl dad, so it works.
Yeah, it does work. But that there was no girl dad thinking behind it when I purchased it. So New York City schools are finished. You were asking me some good sports social media accounts to follow. Did you come across any?
Yeah, I mean, I used House of Highlights. That was good.
Yep.
Overtime is legit.
So I got in touch with a buddy of mine who actually works in social media for, a sports company. And I asked, what are some good accounts to follow? And he just came through with the clutch, standard like ESPN sports. I was like, dude, whatever they're paying you, they need to, cut that in half because anyone could have found out those basic ass accounts that you told us.
With the best part is like the response was at Sports Center. Like,
yeah,
so it was
took
like
the time to put the ads in, but not pass along the good fucking accounts.
It's fake effort, but yeah, no, that's cool.
Sometimes the fake. So there was actually on trending on Twitter. There was it was like the fake Sports Center. Did you see this with Colin Kaepernick? And they like made it look super official, where like their account name was Sports Center, and they like put reported by Adam Schefter, Jets signed Colin Kaepernick to 1-year deal, and they put the official looking photo and like photoshopped him out. It got me at first because I had to click on the link and like. So that's what accounts do. They'll put like the official name in the top as their like header name, but then small underneath it will say like bozo.com or some shit like that.
Yeah, and that account specifically, that guy's known for that.
Oh, so really?
He went off. I think he was the same guy that said Gronkowski was going to Tampa Bay.
Oh, did he do one of those?
Yeah, and then, a bunch of verified ESPN accounts are retweeting it like, wow, oh my God.
It's perfect. It's so perfect that like I clicked on it right away and had to like, I dug into it even more. I went to like the trending and it said like Kaepernick to Jets, and I was like, holy shit, like this might be real. And then I looked and saw like some local news station picked it up as coverage, and it was like, it's fake. It's just funny how like those get me a lot of times because like, I mean, there's no sports stories to report on right now, so it's the perfect time to like do those.
Oh, it catches you when you're in, quarantine. You're getting a little loopy and you're looking for some kind of excitement or action. Like first thing you see, like hell yeah, I'll run with that. But it got the post. The Post posted.
Did it really?
Something. Yeah, New York Post wrote an article about.
I'm sure Kaepernick was getting tons of phone calls too, like saying like, dude, the Jets signed you, this and that.
He was like, really?
I know.
He's like, oh man, finally.
Some of those. So that's gotten people before on like web addresses. They've done like banks have done that. I know me personally, I once tried to go to like a Citibank account, and it was like Citibank dot, like they put something else in there that like the whole web page looked exactly like what it would be to log in through Citibank's thing, like username, password, and I was like close to typing in my password, and I looked at the www bar. And it was just like 1 or 2 letters off. So people are shiesty with how they're trying to like steal information and get fake information out there.
Yeah,
has that ever gotten you?
Cool. That's not cool. I mean, I almost gave my social through the phone one time a couple years ago. I got a call during the summer from this number, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I had just done something with my student loans where I don't know, I like increased the pay or something, whatever I did. And so I got a call and they're like, it's like generic Joe from studentloans.com. We want to give you 85% off all your student loans. just give me your social. And I was just like,
What?
say
Just
no
like
more. Here you go.
straightforward like that?
Yeah, I was like, I was about to tell him all the numbers, and then I was like, oh no, 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 no. I said to him too. I was like, you almost got me, man. I was like,
He was
and
like,
then I
"Fuck."
said I had some choice words for him too. I
Oh,
was
hell
like,
yeah.
you little dirtbag, like
But
this is
how
what you do for a living, and then
something
he
had
hung
to be
up.
lined up to your student loans that they knew to call you, right? Like that would have raised a
Yeah,
red flag for me, is that like somebody knew to call. It's like those ads you see, like when I'm talking to you, I'll talk to you about, I screenshotted you and Little Bronx a picture of like these Yankee boxers or something off Fanatics from my Facebook. And then on Instagram and all the
yep.
rest of the day, I saw Fanatics shit. So like someone must be like tapped into your student loan, like whenever
Oh
you
yeah,
call or some shit to like know
yeah.
to call you right after that.
Dude, it's scary because like clearly I logged in to my student loans account with my phone, and then I had called them earlier about setting up a payment or whatever, and then get this guy just trying to take all my money.
That's so crazy and
Yeah,
fucking weird. Imagine like going to a job interview for that type of shit. Like
yeah,
you call up a company and it's like, yeah, you can work remote. Tell me about how you steal people's identity. You gotta
yeah.
like,
What's the interview process with that?
well,
It's like,
I'm really savvy and I'm crafty with how I use my words, and I'm good. I can get someone's social security number in probably about 10 minutes if you give me. And they're like, you're hired.
I've been stealing from people for years.
But for real, it's like it's a legitimate job because like you got to be working for someone. It's like not like
Yeah.
you that knows the background of the IT to figure out once they do give you your social security number what to do next. Um, so like you have to like interview for that and you have to like apply for that. So you have to be really low life, like dickhead to be applying for that job and then like actually do that job.
Yo, have you ever gone on an interview? Like when I was fresh out of college, we're all struggling.
Oh,
I I hit Craigslist hard for job applications. That was before like Indeed and all that
yep,
too.
yep.
So it was like, you go
Some
on
shady
like,
shit.
Monster and stuff like that would only let you do so many searches before you had to pay. And I was like, I'm not paying to look for a job.
Yep.
Like that's not how this
There was like
this world
teamwork
works at
online
all.
for people in the sports world.
Yep, yep. So we
That
had
shit
all
never
that.
fucking worked.
Never worked. But and then so I was like hitting up Craigslist, and I told one of my buddies. He got a job right away. He's like, "Yo, I got a job through this." I was like, "I might have to keep looking at this." And then I was just going on random interviews. And now that I think about it, I'm like, man, I wonder if that was like a real job. Like, I've been in an interview process before where they've literally had me in like some remote looking office, like where they put me in a conference room and like give me, the only part of the interview was they gave me like a whole paragraph to say out loud and they would record me.
That's some like you were gonna be working for a stealing an identity shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's what I think I was signing up for. And then I was like, I don't even think I would be good at this. But then they called me, and I was like, no, man, I'm out. Like,
You know what's so crazy that you say that is like like desperate times, and like if you can't get a job for a hot minute, you'll go to Craigslist and you'll start like applying for shit. There was, before I have my job now, there was a job posting online, and it was like work in the sports field, like sports industry, sports like-minded people. Like they phrased the shit with sports
hmm
and everything that I was like, all right, that sounds okay. There's
yeah,
sports-minded people, like sports atmosphere. I was like, all right, that's what's up. I applied for it, got an interview, and then as I'm getting out of the car, I see like it was like a clown car of like 25 to 30-year-old kids. There was like five of them in the car, all coming out. Like some of them had like a tie that was disheveled, and like his shirt was untucked, and some khaki pants and shit. And here I am. I'm like, I've been sending out mad, like I'm in a suit and tie, professional, like prepared, have my resume, all this shit, and dudes are just coming out looking mad disheveled. And I'm thinking like, I think this is just like some generic ass post that like they just call everybody in for.
Yep.
And then when I interviewed, they were like, it had nothing to do with sports. They were like, you're going to be going like house to house and knocking on people's doors, talking about like insurance and shit like that. And then they were like, I did really well. And then they were like, come back later in the day and you'll interview with this other kid. And this kid was like total bro, like suit on, and like made it seem like, oh, it was some Ponzi scheme shit where he was like, you can make $50,000, or if you're really grinding, you can make like 80,000, 100,000 and be a manager boss in no time, like I am. Look at me. And I'm like, I'm sitting at the table and I'm like,
yeah,
what the fuck is this? And I said to him, I was like, I'm sorry, but the shit I applied to said like sports on it, sports related. He was like, yeah, you got to understand. We all think like we're athletes, you know?
It's like, oh no, here we go, man. Get out of here.
Yo,
like,
he legit said like, no, it has nothing to do with sports, but like, you know, we're all athletes. We're on a team here and we're trying to like all make money, bro. And I'm like, yeah, I legit, I was like, yo, I got to go. And I left in the middle of the thing.
Good for you, dude, because that's great. Like, I think pretty much everyone, especially in our age bracket, sort of, we've had to go through that where, you know, when we were graduating college, the economy was horrible. No one was really getting a job unless you got a hookup.
Yep.
And so, like, going on these Craigslist interviews and everything, I'm like, when I would walk out, I'm like, oh my God, I think I did write my information down on a piece of paper for them. Like, like I think
just writing your shit down. Yeah.
Like, you know, just basic employment information. Whereas if I apply to be a teacher at a school, I'll give you all my information. I trust you. You know what I mean? But these random companies that I went in and signed up for, I remember I was like looking at sneakers in Macy's or something one day. Like I think I needed like, I don't know. I was just looking at sneakers, and this dude came up to me. I was like, "Oh, what are you looking at? I like those Adidas ones, blah blah, like basic stuff." And I was like, just being nice. I don't, you know, I'm not gonna ever be like a jerk or whatever.
Of course.
But and then eventually, I'm giving my number to this dude.
Same shit. Yo,
I'm giving my number to this dude.
Oh my God.
And he's texting me, hey, man, meet me in the lobby of the Hilton Hotel at 7 p.m. We have this. Weird. And I'm like, this is a Ponzi scheme, man. So I didn't meet up with them. I did one time meet up with a girl because it seemed so – I still think it's innocent, but, like, she stopped me in the gym. Like, if you stop me in the gym –
Oh, she was probably trying to beat cheeks.
But she was like, she had this Ponzi scheme that like, oh yeah, we all get to go to a cruise 3 months from now. I was like, you're telling me if I start working for you 3 months from now, you'd take me on a cruise? Yeah, that's what the company does. This is a great company. I had a sit down at Panera with her, and I was just so thoroughly confused about the actual job title. That's why I was like, I can't do it because I can't wrap my head around what you want me to do.
Here's the thing: it's like there's a fine line you got to balance. So I think I was on spring break. I don't know, whenever I was like a senior in high school, or it might have been in college or something like that. And I was chilling at the pool. And this is way back before I even like knew Illinois was on my mind or Chicago. But like you said, you're trying to work in sports. If someone works for a team or like mentions like a network, like ESPN or some shit, you're like so desperate to like just be like, yeah, here's my information, like whatever you need. And like you think it's harmless, but like these people, like in reality with sports now, like working in that shit, you've worked in sports, it's like that's not how that shit works at all. Nobody in an organization is walking around looking to help somebody else unless you're actively like pursuing that shit. So like being at the gym and working out and you seem nice and it's just like, yeah, you could come work for the Mets. It's like, no, sorry, it will never, ever, ever work like that. So like any person who gets approached by someone looking to help your career that doesn't know you, I'm sorry to say, but all of that shit is bullshit. And like, it's a benefit for them, and you're not going to get any, like, it never works like that. I won't look at you and just be like, he looks like a nice guy, let me try and help his career. Fuck no.
No, because also you got to think too, like, even if you're the nicest guy ever and you do think like that, You gotta make sure that guy's actually or that woman is actually good at their job, or else it's gonna look horrible on your part. So it's like, even if you're high up,
Well, if
you're
they
like,
get you the job,
I'm
I don't
not.
give a shit.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But I mean, I'm just saying, like, if I'm high up, especially in the sports industry, and say I'm at the pool and a lifeguard is like a sports management guy and he wants to pick my brain or whatever, cool. But I can't guarantee anything because I'm like, this kid could be a
I
dumbass and just
know.
make me look like a complete moron.
100%. So I'm sorry, I didn't finish my story. So I'm on spring break and like we're all chilling at the pool. We're like drinking and stuff, but I'm still always in my like sport mindset of like when I'm done with college, I want to work in sports. So long story short, this one guy said he worked like at the Chicago Bears or something like that in ticket sales. I think like and I had to keep seeing this guy for the rest of the trip. So it was like early on in the trip I saw him and he was like, "Yeah, when I get back to Chicago, whatever, give me a call." I think we exchanged numbers and like I'm not even kidding. I think I might still have the guy's number in my phone. Let me check.
Yeah, it doesn't go away. We're gonna call him too.
No, I don't think I do. Thank God. But like I think up until like maybe 5 years ago or something, I might have like tried hitting him up. But to my point is like you're so not desperate, but like you give out your number because you never know. Like maybe he's telling the truth. Ticket sales is some shit that like could really break your foot into the door with sports. But in reality, this guy was just on vacation, said he
Yeah.
worked for the Bears, and I gave him my number because I thought that like he was legit, like someone that could help me.
And also, like, I know when I was like fresh out of college looking at the sports industry and
Mm-hmm.
stuff, I like anyone I met that was in that industry, I'm like, oh man, they're successful. They
Yeah,
they
fuck
definitely
no,
make money. That guy could have been like the bottom of the barrel, just like,
nothing. Yeah,
making nothing.
yep. Yeah, that's how it is
So
in sports most of the time. But to your point too, I think there's people like me and you that are also just genuinely nice too. I was walking out of work one time and I had a football in my hand, and this random kid walked up next to me and started talking to me about like the Bears, and then got me to tell him that I was from New York, and then like he asked for my number, and it wasn't on like some weird shit. Like so, anyone who's like, why would you give him your number? Like he G'd me up so hard that I gave him my
yeah,
number.
yeah.
And like, I don't have it in me enough to even like. I thought about it after. I was like, why don't I just change the last digit of my number? And like, but I have this subconscious thing where I'm like, if I give him
Oh,
the wrong number,
I'll call you right now.
yeah. Well, not even that. That is part of it. But then there's also like, I'm gonna see him again, or like just some shit. So I give him the right number, and then he texts me. It's like, hey, it's Chris from the block or something like that. Because he offered to go to like a Bears Jets game with me, and I was like, sure. I don't, and like, so it's weird, but I just can't give out like a fake phone number. So nobody DM me or ask me for my phone number because you're gonna get that shit.
You're gonna get it whether you like it or not. Dude, I'm with you on that though. Like I just take it. Like all these like the guy at the shoe store was like, "Yeah, what's your number, man? Yeah, I
How do
have
you
this
how do you
great
say
I
no?
have this
Like
great business." I'm like, "Yeah, no, here you go, man. Like here like yeah, call me. Yeah." I'll even like agree to the first meeting most of the time.
that's bold because that could lead to some like they'll murder you some type of shit.
Yeah. No, I've been in some weird first meetings, some weird interviews where I'm like, I can't wait to leave. I still wish I was like, I had something in me to just get up in the middle of this and be like, I'm out, man. I have no desire to be doing this right now. I'm done.
I
But I
give
just, I
yeah.
just sucked it up.
That's a tough one to like finish the meeting. I give myself so much credit for that one meeting to be like I stopped him short as he's drawing out all this shit and like circling numbers and like circling it again and like pointing at the number, and I was like yo, I'm sorry, this is not anything what I thought it was going to be. And I like just left him in the middle of like some big ass like hallway shit, and like I just
Like in the middle of the food court at the mall.
yeah, no, it was like some weird shit, and it like it was almost on some like movie shit where the building blows up behind you when you walk away. Like when I walked out that building, I saw kids still like walking in, and I just felt like even though I didn't have a job or knew what the fuck I was gonna do, I felt like so relieved that I
Yeah.
just like left that dude in the dust. So fuck
Like
that guy if he's
I
out
won't
somewhere.
be that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Don't give out your number to random people. Let's get into a couple of the topics that I had written down here.
Sports, man.
So, in the background of this right now, on TV, is the NBA horse thing.
So they're going through with
They're
it.
doing it right now. They're actually
I'm
replaying
out.
the live
Jesus.
version. It is one of the worst. Like, we get that sports isn't on, but don't try and half-ass put on some fucking program that they think people are gonna watch, because they have like Mike Conley, Chauncey Billups, Paul Pierce.
Chauncey, he's retired.
Chauncey's in it. Paul Pierce is still shooting. It looks like these players are recording off of like a cell phone from 1992. It's the most choppy shit ever. One player will like do a shot, and then he's got to relay what the other shot is to the other players. The connections are just so bad. The players can't they're repeating back and forth. It's terrible. Like, we would have been better without anything on TV.
Well, I knew that was gonna happen. I thought they would have current players at least, but no one needs to see that. I'm good.
They have some, but it's just like one of the girls from WNBA is like shooting in her backyard. Trae Young has like someone recording off an iPhone for him, and it's just choppy. It's like, it's almost a bad look for like the NBA, because it's like, we get you're trying to put something out there, but not like, we didn't need this.
Twitter's gonna have a field day with that.
Oh, they're going off already.
Yeah.
They have like a moderator, the guy who calls the game, Mark Jones or whatever. He's like sitting in front of like two. He looks like, we've got a friend who's got like, T-shirts and stuff hanging on his wall just randomly, like not framed. Mark Jones has like a hanger with like two jerseys over his shoulder, like he's in middle school.
See, that's the only interesting thing is like I would like to see some of their house setups or their quarantine setups. That's it.
But you don't want to. You really don't want to. Like,
no, I guess I don't.
They have the quarterfinals right now that they're replaying, and semifinals are like in 2 days. But it's a bad look. It's like, I don't know what I'd want to see. Maybe like NBA trivia or something like that. Like, there's something cooler out there. Like, what are your thoughts on the 2K?
I didn't like it.
Neither did I.
I didn't like it. I can't watch stuff like that. Honestly, I think the coolest thing is, man, play the throwbacks, play the classics.
Exactly.
Like you will catch my eye every single time if you play like an old 2000 NBA playoff game or something. Like, I'll stop and watch it for a little bit, I'm not going to stop 2 seconds for this other stuff. I don't need to see a pro athlete play video games.
Exactly.
I don't understand how people make money on Twitch.
No.
Just getting people to watch them play video games.
And here's the thing, like, NBA players they're not like funny, they're not witty, they're not, like Patrick Beverley is great when you watch him in his element playing basketball, talking shit. But like him sitting in a chair in a sweater playing video games, we all like, there's funnier people out there to watch than Patrick Beverley and DeAndre Ayton playing 2K.
You see some of those scores?
No, were they low or?
It was like 101 to Beverly beat Ayton like 98 to 52.
Yeah.
101 to 47.
Something that is cool, if anybody from the NBA watches, and what players have been doing on their own Instagrams, is like, they should have LeBron watch his NBA Finals game and like be in the corner of the screen and run us through like run us through what was going on during the game. Like, what is he thinking when Ray Allen takes that ball back and shoots it? Like, and watching the game live with all of us. Like, that would be cool.
Like that Kobe documentary that Spike Lee did.
Did what I remember seeing that, but I don't remember exactly like what.
So it was just Kobe voiceover, him playing a regular season game against San Antonio, where he's at each part of the court, like what he's thinking at this moment, what plays that they're running, what is San Antonio doing against them to stop them, and it's all strategy and stuff like that, and it's stuff that actually can help young players.
Yeah. None of this, like 2K is not helping any young players. The horse competition is just atrocious. Nobody's interested in it. But Russell Wilson logged on to his Instagram, and he was running through his Super Bowl, and he was like, here's a big third down, and like, we needed to get this right here. It was important. And like, that's the shit that was really cool to me. So
I could respect that. Yeah, I could respect that.
that's something that the NBA should look at. Even like like if Trae Young's down to do NBA stuff, like have him talk about his first game and his
Yeah,
jitters and what he was going through. Like that stuff would be so awesome.
better than this.
A lot better than this. So we're out on the horse, and 2K shit is atrocious. This is something that was sad. I just read an article before we got on air about the XFL. They fired all their employees. They shut down the league. And some guy wrote a whole long post saying, a lot of people were rooting for us to fail in the beginning, but, it gave players an opportunity, and it was just a different avenue from the NFL. So, in a way, I personally, I knew a guy who worked over at the XFL, and at first, when they said that the XFL was shutting down, I put like a comment on Instagram that was like, yeah, that was garbage, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, it was providing jobs for people, and like it was a good place for players to have another opportunity. So now I feel a little bit bad. What are your thoughts on it?
See, I thought it was like, and we joked about it at the very beginning stages of it too, where it kind of came. It kind of was that joke. It was that joke league.
Yep.
But even as the weeks went on, I started to look at it more as like a minor league feeder system for the NFL, to where the last couple of weeks that they were playing, not going to say that it was like some crazy great football that I enjoyed watching, but if I'd watch for a quarter at a time or something, I'm thinking this can definitely be used as a minor league system for the NFL, and that seemed to be the direction that they were going.
Yep.
And that's what sucks about it, because some of those XFL guys, and they'll still get NFL opportunities from the limited times that they, the limited games that they did play. But some of those guys could have really got a shot and stuck with a team for next year.
Yeah. It wasn't so much about the competition on the field and like the actual play. Like that, in my mind, was like a sidebar, because you watch the NFL because it's the best, and they're making these miraculous catches and doing all this crazy shit. They're so fast. And watching the XFL, yes, while those guys are still amazing, and like I would never ever compare to anything with what those guys are. They're still throwing the ball far and making miraculous catches and stuff. You almost don't want to watch like a watered down version of what the best is out there. So the NFL is out there, so why am I going to watch some like watered down version? But to your point, I thought it was good to have some alternative, league that is taken seriously enough that they can try and implement new rules that would push the NFL to maybe, adapt and try that as well. So they were doing like some coaches, like some referee challenge from up in the box. They changed a couple rules on special teams. So to your point, having that like development minor league-ish type league that the NFL could say, that did work really well in the XFL. Why don't we try that in the NFL? Like those extra points they did.
Yeah.
Those are really cool. Why not make it a little more challenging to say like, all right, you got 6 for the touchdown. You want to go for like a 4-pointer, but it's back from like the 35 yards. So now you're forcing. So now every time you watch an NFL game and they're at the 35-yard line and you're like, just loft that shit up to the end zone, man. That'll be mad exciting to see like Randy Moss jump up there with like now once the 4-point play is coming, it's going to be an exciting jump ball play.
Yeah. And like it's plays like that where I'm stopping every time to watch. Like, I want to see what they do here.
Yep.
And maybe not that rule, but some modification to that rule and certain other rules. I guarantee you the NFL definitely would have looked at it.
Definitely.
To changing it for them. And like you said, it ended up not really being about the product on TV. It was more so developing. A lot of those guys were young too. They didn't get a ton of older guys that were washed. It wasn't like the big 3 or anything like that where they were retired and just wanted to check. Mm-hmm. They were young, hungry guys that came from legitimate colleges, and you could see it as being like a feeder system.
Yeah.
That unfortunately it's not going to happen now.
Yeah. one thing that's different about the big three that sort of gives it like a little bit, like they're trying to get funky with some rules that like I don't think are ever like applicable to the NBA.
Right.
They're doing like ISO challenges and stuff like that, like
Yeah.
stuff that's not never gonna. It's just not possible in the NBA. Their little niche is that like they can still get memorable players that like before Kobe passed away, if they got Kobe, like you've got memories, we all have got memories tied to Kobe that if you saw him even half of what he was in the NBA, you'd still be like, that's really cool to still see him playing basketball.
Yeah.
Which I think still makes the big three unique. But something that is competitive and also has really young, good players is like the TBT tournament, where they've got executives and more freedom to try different things, where they started that like Elam ending where they'll put a final destination score that a team has to get to, which you saw the NBA then implement in the All-Star game. So like there's benefits to having other leagues, and I think it's unfortunate that the XFL closed down because like my friend, like other people, there was a lot of people that got jobs from it. There was young players that were depending on maybe getting an NFL contract out of it. Some coaches that were hoping to probably go to the NFL from it. And yeah, it was developing its own little niche a little bit. Like it did have some media backing behind it, but like I don't know if you saw when they did the cups in the stands.
Yeah.
Like so that was pretty dope. Like it almost made me think like I would go to a game and sit and add my cup.
I saw that and I was planning on going to a game.
Yeah, like I was
gonna go to Meadowlands.
Like the snake or something like that.
Beersnake. Yeah.
That was dope. Like I'm sure that's gotten started before, but like the XFL's niche was like picking up on weird, quirky, like fan things going on or player names. Yeah. So like, I hope that that Beersnake thing lives on somewhere else. Hopefully, a hockey team picks it up or something.
Yeah.
Do you think it lives on somewhere?
Minor league baseball stadiums.
That's a good one.
It doesn't seem like a basketball thing, really. It doesn't seem like that's going to happen in an indoor NBA.
No.
Hockey fans get rowdy.
They do, but it has to start. So it wouldn't start in the NBA because it starts from like I feel like the ground level.
Right.
And so tickets in XFL were like dirt cheap. So you would get someone wasted in the lower level, and then it would lead all the way up to the top because they're wasted at the top too.
Yeah.
You're not going to get like a Howard Stern courtside.
Yeah.
Like, let's start the Beersnake.
He's just gonna hold these cups the whole time while sitting in his $8,000 seats.
Yeah,
it's not gonna happen.
I don't see that. So yeah, you make a good point that maybe minor league baseball, maybe MLS.
Maybe I was gonna almost lean more towards like the European soccer leagues because they just get weird there.
No, but they're so into the game that like they're not in like. It's almost that's the difference between
like the product. Yeah.
Like I've said this before, and you probably don't want to hear this, but you go to a Yankee game, the majority of the time for the whole game, you're gonna just be watching the game.
Yeah.
You go to City or Old School Shea, and there's gonna be mad waves going on. There's gonna be like a weird beach ball that pops out. Granted, fun as shit. I won't hate on it.
Yeah.
But it's usually like the team and the product and the fans, like it all meshes with like what's going on in the stands.
Yeah, it definitely depends on the fan. Like Yankees fans, very serious, so you don't see that so much anymore. I hate the wave because it's just annoying. It's like you gotta get up every 10 seconds.
I'm not a fan, but you do it, right?
The first couple, and then I'm just like, all right, I'm cool.
Oh, you give up? I stay till the end.
I give up. No, I give up,
man.
I give up.
I'm not the person
I don't
want
to do this. Wave. I don't want to do this for 25 minutes. I'm good.
No, but you got to know that it only makes it 5-6. Like any good waves will only go for like 5-6 times around. Like that shit's not going for the whole inning.
Well, I have levels to it. Like the first couple, I get up and do it.
Yeah.
After that, I'm like leaning on my seat a little bit. I give them one, and then I sit down. And then 2 arms, and then it just goes.
Yeah.
And then it's nothing after that. That there's levels to it.
There is a progression.
And that's how it goes.
Of like really into the shit, slowly, and then there's that like.
All right, everyone, sit the fuck down, man. Like, what are we doing?
No, that's a great point. Yeah, but I don't know. You could tell, and it's not that like it's not that Mets fans are less knowledgeable or less educated or care less about baseball than Yankee fans or something. I think it just is typically been like the association with the team. So like Tampa probably does weird shit in their stands more so than like the Yankees would, because the Yankees normally over the years would have a better team on the field. Does that make sense, that argument?
Well, yeah, I think a perfect example of this, and I hate when fans even do this, but you know, the Mets fans sometimes will give like a sarcastic applause if we've had a long inning and we finally like make a play and get out of it or
Oh,
something.
really?
Whereas like Yankee fans probably have never done that in their lives,
No.
you know? So like I've been to some baseball stadiums where the teams are pretty bad, and if they've made 2 or 3 errors in an inning, that next player, when they make an out, when they catch
Oh
the
yeah, they
ball
get
and
like
make
the
an out,
like
they stand up and they're like,
yeah.
"Hey, what a catch! Look at you, you did it!"
Yeah.
And then so it's things like that that Yankee fans probably have never done in their lives, but I've seen and heard it a handful of times from Citi Field and Shea Stadium.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But so Beersnake, we want to see it back. That hopefully that's something that lives on from the XFL.
It's got to be people that come from the gutter, right?
Yeah, yeah. So like, I mean, the St. Louis Blues, maybe they started at their hockey game or something.
Just rugged ass people, blue collar people that, and the with what you said, the front row seats can't be too expensive.
Yeah, it can't be expensive. So MLS, it's got a chance to be the next league to adapt the Beersnake, because that was something. And it's also a matter of like, is ESPN willing to pick up the Beersnake on TV at a MLS game or at a baseball game or even at a basketball game if it started there? Because that's not what they're looking for in that league. Like the XFL, they're looking for that weird shit. They're looking for a hot girl in the stands.
Yep.
That's like they wouldn't necessarily be looking at. The cameraman's looking at an NFL game. He just doesn't have permission to put her on the screen as much as he does.
Cameramen are freaks.
They are. They always, any game, like, yeah, it'll always start off on like, a hot girl or something like that. Just because they know that's what sells to like these creepy guys that are sitting on their couch like, oh yeah, show me her again.
Yo, they know what they're doing, man. And I think of them every single time when they do that too. I'm like, this cameraman, he's smiling. He's all happy that
And I don't blame him though too, but like I've met some cameramen working at, different teams. They're pretty creepy.
Yeah.
They're not like the fact that you have to hold a camera the whole game and watch a sporting event through a lens like a whole game.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're trying to take your mind off some shit.
Yeah. You got a lens that you could zoom in on individuals.
Yeah.
Whether they're on the field that you have to do or in the crowd.
Yeah.
And you could peep on anyone. You're like a peeping Tom that's legal.
That's so true, and that's a good ass point. I'm like, if you're, an attractive female at a male, dominated sporting event, like if you're at a Miami Heat game and you're an attractive female wearing some skimpy clothing, just know that there's a camera guy up in the lights that like during timeouts when he's not on call, when he's not required to be on the time, in the huddle or something like that, he zoomed the fuck in on your right boob or something like that.
Think of the time.
Or if you're wearing a dress or something, oh shit, man, we just unlocked the whole. Damn.
Think of when they don't show their cameras.
Shit.
What they're looking at.
Yeah, I'm sure there's tons of
it blows my mind that they haven't ever cut to a dirty camera angle at the wrong moment, and we've gotten a little bit of a peep show. It's crazy that that's never happened.
Yeah, all we ever gotten is like LeBron's, dong in like an NBA Finals game because do you remember that?
Oh yeah,
he was like putting powder and he like he was like stretching out the waistband on his shorts, and then there was the whole internet like controversy of like, did we see his dick or not?
Yeah,
I think we did, and it wasn't too. Like, LeBron should be a little ashamed of what he had going on there. Okay. That's that. There's some creepy camera guys out there. Baseball. They're talking about playing in one location. Could be maybe Arizona or something like that. I think from what I saw, they're trying to follow after a model that like South Korea had or is doing, where they're like wearing masks and we might have spoken about this last week now that my brain is jogging itself, but I think conversations have progressed that the MLB might be trying to do something. What are your thoughts on that? Have you read anything more on that or heard anything about that?
Yeah, so there's been some like a few significant changes where they were talking about getting rid of the divisions altogether.
Mm-hmm.
So like the Red Sox Yankees wouldn't necessarily be in the same division. They
Yeah.
would almost follow by the spring training, the grapefruit and the cactus leagues. That's the one I didn't love. I didn't love that.
Wait, so I'm sorry. So MLB would go on, so it'd be like regular baseball, but they'd
Yep.
switch up all the divisions to how they're played in their spring training.
Yeah.
So like the
Yeah.
Yankees have a different spring training division than they do in the regular season.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like
Cuz
the
it's
Tampa
like
League.
it's all based on like
Which teams are based out of
where they're
Tampa?
based.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
where they're based.
Or
So it's like
Florida,
let's
yeah.
make this easy for everyone. So you got some weird things where I think the Phillies and the Yankees were in the same division
Yeah, I think the
for
Mets
this.
play down in Florida too, so I don't know if like they would be considered close enough there.
Yeah, I think they're a little too far away.
Okay.
So that's the one thing I didn't love because if they're all based in one region of Arizona, then let's just keep the divisions and keep it moving like that. That was my only gripe with
Yeah,
that.
no, if all the teams are if it's close enough to keep the divisions together, then do that.
Yeah.
But it could also be kind of cool if they were spread out enough that like a division where the Yankees play, you know, the Phillies, the Rays, even though they're in division anyway, but like the Mets and I don't know, some random team like the Cardinals or something.
Yeah.
It could be cool to change it up, like
Yo,
we said last week, everything's off the table.
right, exactly. And it's like, everyone complains about baseball maybe being bland or boring or whatever it is anyway. So now's the time to kind of change it up and see what works and see if maybe this does generate some excitement. Some people were really upset with I think they were talking about having a few games during the week be 7 innings and not nine. And I
Yeah,
love that. I love that.
a shorter game.
Yo, I think that's cool. I think it's like I think it adds strategy to the games where it's like, all right, well, let's try to get maybe our 4 or 5 starter to pitch that 7 inning game, so then we can only rely on him to go 4 of the 7 innings, and we could get him out of there,
Yeah.
go to our pen. You have strategy like that. Also, I do think they're mainly doing it because it's gonna be tough to get all these pitchers back, and then once you get them back, you don't want to injure them by
Mm-hmm.
having them throw all these innings.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they kind of want to lessen the load on the players in general, which they were also talking about a DH for every team, which I do like for this year. I think that's cool. So,
Yeah. No,
Mets having a DH, I think that's cool.
yeah. The only thing that scares me about that is just like these guys prepare their bodies and they prepare, mentally, and they've been taught like that a baseball game is 9 innings, and it's like they're just wired a certain way where like if you change a game to 7 innings and you start, bending the rules of the baseball, even with
Yeah.
all this shit, it just it doesn't to me it doesn't feel as like legitimate, and it just
I
feels
could see
like
that as a fan. I know as a player, I would get so tight when we would have to play 2 9-inning doubleheaders. I'm
yeah,
like,
I'm
dude,
sure that's
we don't
terrible.
even have the pitching for this. Like,
Yeah,
we're not this good. We're not in the MLB. Like, what are we doing? And we would be out on that field for like 8.5 hours.
yeah,
And I would just be like hour 5, and I'm like, I want to go home. Like,
yeah.
this
That
is
sounds miserable.
yeah.
Um, they got to figure something out. I mean, obviously, it's not going to be what we expect it to be. They're not just going to open up Yankee Stadium. They're not just going to open up all these baseball parks and things are going to be back to normal like they were. So we're going to have to start changing our, mindset to seeing something different, seeing something funky. But it's just so weird because, like I said, this horse is on right now, and Paul Pierce is standing there with a frozen screen right now. It's actually hilarious. He's like frozen. Like, it's just I'm not used to seeing any of this. Like
Yeah.
it's different. But like if they did this every day until the season came back, by the time it's done, I think the regular NBA was normal and that horse was normal. So it's just we've never seen it before. So anything they do is going to be normal. It's almost like they got to just make a decision, stay with it, and go with it. Once they start wishy-washing on everything and open a door to conversation, that's when shit gets weird because then they allow too many voices into the conversation.
Yeah, no, I agree. How do you feel about the MLB players possibly being away from their families for 4.5 months?
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
like,
cool with that.
I mean,
even the players though, they were like, listen, if that's the way to make $1 million, that's the way to make $1 million.
At the end of the day, I love my wife. I love my family. If I played a professional sport and they told me I had to go away for 2 months to play baseball, like, give me a break. These guys will find a way to fly home on a private jet and see their family or fly their family out. Like, I don't like the players and their family. I'm sorry if this sounds bad, but like that's the last of my concerns. Like I want to see the sport be played like officially. I could care less if when Alex Rodriguez is playing that he's away for his daughters for 2 months or something like that.
Yeah, no, I know. I know what you're saying with that. I think it's pretty telling too that a lot of players have come out and been like, "Yeah, we'll make it happen, man. It's all good."
They're ready to get away from their house.
Even one player, I think it was Buster Olney, told this story. I was dying. He was on ESPN. He was like, "I'm not gonna say the player's name, but he's married. And he's got a few kids." And we texted in the morning. And he's like, "There's no way I can make this work. I can't make this work. I can't do this." He texted me later on that day. The player goes, "Well, I talked to my wife. If that's how I'm making my salary this year, I'll make this work."
Seriously.
He goes, "I'll see them in 4.5 months."
Yeah, like come on.
Yes, yeah.
Your wife wants you out the fucking house too. It's not like it's like everyone's like locked up in their house having a grand old time. They're ready to go wherever for a couple months. So like,
exactly.
I don't want the argument of like being away from their families. One more thing I got here. Well, two more things here. I saw a poll that said nearly 75% of Americans won't attend a sporting event once this is all done, which I was surprised. I thought was a pretty high number. What are your thoughts on 75% of Americans won't attend a sporting event after the coronavirus is we got the all clear?
I will attend the first one if possible once I get the all in, and I think I know your answer too.
You would attend the first one?
I would, yeah. You wouldn't?
I think I would too.
I got courtside seats to Chicago Bulls playoff game 1. You gonna go to that?
Yeah, I'm in there. I'm in there.
All right.
And like,
yeah, man.
I'm in there.
Yeah.
But I definitely know people that would say no, because they're like my wife. She's not a sport fan, but if you asked her, I don't even know, a live taping of the Kardashians or something like that, and there was a crowd of like 100 people, that like so she would probably say no to that still.
I thought you were gonna say a concert or something.
No, like you get to
Let's
sit.
see what my wife likes.
You get to sit on the couch and watch a live taping of like Courtney and Kim throwing blows at each other, putting their makeup on. She'd probably turn it down right now.
Damn it. Well, yo, I'm not gonna lie. As soon as we get the clear for live events, I'm going to try to take advantage of cheap concert tickets and maybe some sporting events.
Yeah, no, that's a great point, too. I assumed right away that tickets would just be astronomically high. But I think it could be the other side of it where tickets are super cheap because not a lot of people are going. So now could be your opportunity to sit on the floor at a Bulls game, or like sit first row at a Cubs game or something like that, because all these older people who usually tend to have those seats from their companies or some shit like that aren't risking getting the Rona.
Plus, there's also been talks. I know there's talks of everything on the media about this, but like if we're allowed to go, like everyone under 55 years old is allowed to go out and about and continue on with their lives, but everyone 55, 60 plus has to stay in. It's like that's going to open up some floor seats.
100%.
Hey man, and you got to lower them, and like just like the airports, they said airplane tickets are going to be pretty cheap in the next couple months after this too, just
That's a
because we got to get back to, an even keel.
It's a really good point. I had just assumed that, like, I was randomly thinking about this the other day, and I was like, once my brain starts going down this rabbit hole of like quarantine and like just everyone being stuck at their homes, I was like, damn, like, I remember what it was like just, on a nice day, because baseball season's starting up right now, like Wrigley Field, just, opening day at Wrigley Field and it just being packed and there's people at the bars outside of it. Like,
yeah, the atmosphere.
the whole atmosphere. Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing going on right now at sporting arenas and venues. And it's a little surprising to me that, like, these huge facilities, almost like how they used the Superdome during Hurricane Katrina, why none of these are coming into play as like a hospital center or like a medical center for coronavirus.
Yo,
So
that's
is it like the owners not like offering up their facilities or something?
So me and my roommate drove by City Field about a week ago, and he said the same thing as we drove by City Field, but not only City Field, they got the tennis stadium right near it too.
I think they are using the tennis center for
They
some,
are.
right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Because he mentioned it. He was like, "Yo, why wouldn't they just open that up?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I guess they got the Javits, but
But like that's a
why
huge
wouldn't
facility too. Like, or even
yeah,
Madison Square Garden, like the concourse, like put a fucking thing throughout the whole concourse.
yep."
And it's yeah, it almost makes me think that like the owners are like, nah, sports are gonna come back. We don't want to get a potential, disease all up in our seats and everywhere else that like a person could potentially get it when they come back to watch a game or something.
I agree with that, and I think that all of these leagues are planning on something soon,
Yeah.
like on an announcement at least.
Oh,
soon.
you think?
I think there will be announcements over the next couple weeks. By the time we get to May 1st, I think we might have a little bit more of an understanding of what happens with the NHL playoffs and the NBA and
Yeah,
all that.
yeah, I agree with you. I think May is going to have a lot of clarity into things because I think June. I'm sorry, whether it's beginning of June, mid June, is when we're going to see at least something start back up.
I agree. I've always been like optimistic about this too, but like I really, really think we're gonna start to see things get back to normal on the sports side in June.
Yeah, I agree with you. I had something else. I forgot what it was. We had spoken about this on the phone with our friend, but you're scrolling through your TV. What's your best sports movie that you'd stop and watch the whole thing, regardless if it's 2 a.m. or, whatever time of the day you're scrolling through, you see on TBS, boom, what is it?
I love Bull Durham.
Oh, ooh.
I love Bull Durham.
That's the one with De Niro?
No, that's with
Oh, no,
Kevin Costner. He's in the minors.
Oh, I'm bugging. Oh, I would have never thought you would say that. That's like you telling me you like tuna fish or some shit like that. If I were to ask you, like, what your favorite meal ever is.
I did have a tuna fish sandwich today. It wasn't by really choice. I just had no other options.
I just didn't expect that one. Bull Durham. I don't even think I ever saw that. What? I've heard of it, obviously. Well, which one is that again?
He's like Kevin Costner's like a catcher in his mid-30s, like over the hill, washed minor league guy that just loving the game still, like can't get enough of it, loves chasing the women. Like it's a good one.
Does he play for a real team?
Yeah, he plays for the Durham Bulls.
Oh, fuck that. I gotta watch a sports movie and it's got like when there's like as good as movie as Any Given Sunday is, the fact that like they were on like the Sharks or whatever they were on.
Oh, you need real teams.
I need to see a real team. Like that's what made Major League great was that like there was the Cleveland Indians. Like Little Big League,
Yeah,
classic. He
yeah,
was the
yeah.
Twins
I
and
agree with
Rookie of
that.
the Year with the Cubs. Any fake team, like if Bow Wow played, like Mike was, I think he was like Mike, right?
Yeah,
And he was on like the Knights.
yeah. It was a horrible movie.
No, it was a great movie, but like
It was a horrible movie.
it was classic. Dirk Nowitzki asking for an autograph and shit like
Oh
that.
my god. I remember watching like, man, I would love to fucking play this kid.
But like the movie would have just been so much better if he was on like a real NBA team. Like I don't get how you can have like the Dallas Mavs in the movie and have him play against all these teams, but he's on a fake team.
Yeah, and like how some movies can use real sports teams and maybe some don't choose to. I think that's like a bad move.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so I try, and I don't think I watched the whole movie, but Any Given Sunday,
It's a great movie.
it's a classic. It's great. I was watching it. It was great. Again, I don't think I finished it, but like everyone says it's a great movie. But I remember them saying, "Oh, we have to win today because like the Dolphins, or whatever, whatever." Like if you're
Yeah.
talking about the Dolphins and talking about real NFL teams, I just think that movie could have been so much better if they were the like Miami Dolphins.
Yo, especially because like it was very obvious that they were based in Miami, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And then it was like, all right, let's just pick another water animal.
Yes.
No, we can't do dolphins. Let's do the sharks. So that kind of added some like cheesiness to it
Yeah.
that
There was
I'd agree with.
when I worked at I interned at Madison Square Garden, and I remember, and I think I've told this story before somewhere, but Queen Latifah came in and tried to pitch a movie to James Dolan, and it was like the movie that I'm gonna look it up real quick. I'm gonna tell you the name of the movie because it probably came out the year Queen Latifah and Common was in it.
She plays center.
Just right. No, but like she like Common is like hugging her and a basketball in the cover photo.
Just right.
Just right.
I've never
Queen
even heard
Latifah,
of
Common,
that.
and Paula Patton. Let me tell you. Physical therapist Leslie Wright, Queen Latifah, lands a dream job of working with basketball superstar Scott McKnight, Common. All goes well until Leslie finds that she is falling in love with him. Scott, however, is oblivious to Leslie's romantic overtures and focuses his attention on Morgan, Paula Patton, Leslie's gorgeous friend, who would love to be the basketball player's trophy wife.
Oh, I've seen this cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I interned at Madison Square Garden, I remember them saying like Queen Latifah's coming in today to pitch a movie to James Dolan. And she must have came in and read exactly that to James Dolan and tried to get Common to be on the Knicks, and Dolan said no to it. So she went
Yo,
to the New Jersey Nets, and they said yes. So I think it's just
best
a matter.
movies ever made.
I mean, like he made Eddie, and I give Dolan a little bit of respect to saying no to that.
Yeah, Eddie's all right.
No,
So
Eddie's a
he got
classic, but like he would have had to, if he said yes to the Queen Latifah movie, it would have been forever matched up to the Eddie. Like,
yeah,
Eddie's
it would've been
Eddie.
trash. Yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right. It would have been Queen Latifah's would have been equally as bad as Eddie's equally good.
Yes. So like you could have like Eddie as it wasn't really bad, I don't think, but
No,
like
I thought it was good.
but it would have gotten compared to her movie, which was terrible, which would have made you think that Eddie was bad.
Yeah, so that's probably what you have to do then. You have to get the owner of the team to
Yeah.
agree to it.
Yeah, I guess it all comes down to just the owner's approval because there's some movies, come to think of it, a lot of the, which is weird why Any Given
Yo,
Sunday
it
wouldn't
makes
have gotten
sense now.
approved.
Hold on. It makes sense. Any Given Sunday was pretty edgy, was it not? They don't
Edgy.
want Dolphins players being like fucking violent and cursing.
They're
and
like doing
drinking
steroids and stuff,
smoking.
right, or no?
I think so.
Okay.
But I think it was a little wild and reckless. Like,
Yeah.
they don't want like
That can make sense, but like
yeah.
and usually all the other classic movies are either really good movies or they're played on really bad teams. So
Yeah.
like Kevin Costner, he played in what was that? He was like a old age pitcher in one of his you know what I'm saying? He was like on the Detroit Tigers
Oh, For the Love of the Game.
for the love of the game. So like,
God, he's a great baseball movie guy.
yeah, but
Sports in general, he's good.
he did the Browns draft day.
Yeah, he did. I don't think I've seen that actually.
I don't think I've seen that one either, but like I probably
Tin
could go with
Cup.
that one.
Tin Cup.
Oh shit. Damn,
Tin
he's
Cup
covered
is
like every
legit.
single sport.
Yeah, Tin Cup is good.
So I think we just figured it out.
Yeah.
Either the team knows the movie's going to be a banger because they're sold on like the script, the producer is a fire, director, or your team is in a market that's straight doo-doo, like, the Detroit Tigers, the California Angels at the time probably weren't, a banger, but they either saw that Angels in the Outfield was going to be good.
Hell yeah, positive reviews.
Exactly. But if there's some controversy around it, like, oh, we're going to have all the Miami Dolphins players going out, doing coke, you're like, no, I'm going to hold off from that movie. Or you get
Remember
pitched to Queen
Playmakers?
Latifah. Playmakers.
On ESPN, the show?
Vaguely.
Bro, they were shooting up. It was a show on ESPN. It was insane. It was a 30-minute show.
It was
You might have to
it was
check
like a
this
made up
out while
team
we're
though?
locked down. Made up team, made up league, man, because it was like, and it lasted one season, and ESPN was like, we can't do this anymore.
Oh, it was like bad like that?
It's insane that they aired it on ESPN.
Really?
I want you to look up Playmakers, watch one episode during this lockdown, get back to me, and like, we got friends that definitely have watched it. I feel like I've talked to a few of them about it. I
sort of remember this, but like not really.
One of the D linemen shoots himself in the parking lot, like crazy stuff. Yeah, man, and they showed it on ESPN 10 p.m. and it was insane. Just the old running back that doesn't have it anymore is getting steroids delivered to his locker room.
Damn.
Yeah,
I'm gonna write this one down. I probably won't watch it, but I'm gonna make an attempt to.
No, try to watch one episode. I bet you'll be locked in.
My time is so limited that even when I start watching something good, I'm like, there's got to be something better out there right now that I could be using my time to watch.
I know.
Does that make sense?
I've thought that so many times during this. Like I'm on like year 4 of MLB The Show franchise, just drafting random made up people. And it's like, I got to be doing something better.
Well, no, that's my problem is like, I'm watching something that's good, but I'm like, there's definitely something better out there.
Yeah.
But I don't go find that better show, and I just revert back to maybe watching like a Masked Singer or some weird shit that I definitely shouldn't be watching.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm with you on that. I just watch bad stuff.
Yes. It's like watch something good, try and find something great. Nah, just revert back to some whack shit that is dumb that you shouldn't be watching anyway.
It's true.
All right. I watched the Love and Basketball was on. That was a good one,
That's good.
The Lakers and Sparks are in it. USC's in it.
Yep.
Like, Blue Chips was such an iconic movie. I just wish that, like, if they played on, like, Indiana, like the Hoosiers or something like that, or like.
Well, what were they doing in that movie?
Yeah, they're doing illegal shit.
They're doing some shit, man. So they can't just be like, yeah, no, this is how it happens at LSU. Like,
yeah, you're right. Fuck, that's a good point. So if you're doing bad shit, your movie's not going to get approved. If it's a good, if it's a good screenwrite, you'll probably get it approved.
What'd you think of The Air Up There?
The Air Up, that was Kevin Bacon shit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just talking, just mad racist looking back on it, like mad racist. He needed a big, tall center, and he was just like, let me go to Africa.
Blocker.
Yeah, he needed a shot blocker.
To South Africa.
He put the face paint on and like the beads and all that shit, and was like dancing in tribal circles, all to get a recruit. Like, that's too much, bro.
Yo, they were all playing barefoot. Oh my god.
It's too.
I mean, maybe that's what they do, but it was just like.
I'm afraid to see what some college basketball coaches do to get recruits. Because they don't connect with them on like obviously you can't connect with like a young high school kid who's probably on TikTok and doing all this weird shit. So like, you're gonna have to go to like one of their house barbecues or a house party or something like that, and get along with all the people. So I mean, a lot of these guys are savvy. Did you watch The Scheme on HBO?
No.
That's a good one. It's a good document. That's about the NCAA coaches like paying for athletes and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah, I might have to check that
That
out.
was a solid one.
That's
It
something
was
that could be good.
yeah, it was a quick watch. It was good, but it just goes to show that a lot of these coaches are so like two-faced, and they'll just do anything to get players.
It's I don't think that's ever gonna change, but it like what would you do if you like I wouldn't even want to go hang out with this kid. I'd rather just give him money.
Yeah, I
If I was
know.
a coach, I'd be like, yo, I don't want to hang out with you and go to your party or
That's what
whatever.
it
Like
usually is. Yeah.
like 4 years, 800K. How's that work? And you got a house near a campus.
Yeah, and they usually have like a younger assistant coach, and that's why there's usually an assistant coach on the team who's like knows the AAU circuit, can relate
Yep.
to kids a little bit better, is the one that's really in the weeds, texting and like really getting down with the players.
Yeah.
All right, Paul Pierce is still freaking shooting from like outside of his half court gym with the Celtics logo on, and it's just like oh, it's like grainy footage. Zach
Is it
LaVine
so
is
bad
like,
that it's good right now?
no,
Is it must watch? Should I turn
no,
it on?
it's so bad that I said to someone, it's on right now just because like it's just on the background. But it was so bad that I changed the channel before I turned my TV off, just in case, like they still get a view for when your TV's off if it's left on the station. I didn't even
Like
want
they
them to
need
get
to
my
know
view.
that this isn't working.
It's the fact that State Farm like would if they paid to like be the presenter of this, they should be embarrassed.
That's tough. That's a tough look for State Farm.
Yeah, I don't know, man. So ESPN, hold off on the horse, hold off on like,
Anything.
knockout competitions and shit like that. Like just wait until it comes back. All right, we could be
Yeah.
a little bit more patient. This isn't like wetting our beaks. This is just making us angrier.
Yeah. If it's got to involve Instagram Live or Zoom, just hold off.
Yeah, like what if MLB came out and was like, we're gonna show you who's a player on the Mets. I can't even name a position player.
Pete Alonso.
We're gonna show you Pete Alonso, fielding ground balls with his son in his backyard, and he's in a challenge, like Mike Trout in California, who's throwing the ball with his kid. It's like,
You know what it would be like? It would be like, oh yeah, let's have a wiffle ball home run derby with our greatest
yeah,
home run hitters. Be like, no, I don't want to see that.
yeah, like I get it. The ball's gonna go very far, but like,
Yeah.
I don't need to see Mike Trout in his backyard swinging a wiffle ball bat. Like
Yeah.
I'm paying to watch him hit a home run 500 feet inside of a big ass stadium.
Box seats because they're gonna be cheap.
Yeah, that's a great call.
That's what I'm
It's a good point, man. I think you're right. I think tickets are going to be super cheap going back, and now is people's chance to sit front row. But you're still Rona, Zach LaVine, or somebody dunking in your face. Like I don't know. It's the risk. I still can't figure out who number 22 on the Warriors is, and why is that jersey behind the moderator?
I kind of have to turn this on. I think.
Chris Paul is like the. Let me just look up who's 22 on the Warriors.
Jordan Hill.
Seriously?
No, I don't. I don't know. I thought maybe.
All right, we're gonna end on whoever number 22 on the Warriors.
Write it in the comments.
Andrew Wiggins. Such a random jersey to be over his shoulder.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's like he's got Andrew Wiggins sleeve jersey. It's not even framed, so like he had to put these two jerseys up behind him. He's got a yellow Andrew Wiggins sleeve jersey, and then a Chris Bosh Miami Blue Vice jersey on the other side hanging.
On a hanger, you
On
said?
a hanger. I
That's
don't get
hilarious.
it. I don't get it. So weird.
It's like he should have just put it on a tack.
He should have just left his wall blank or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
that's a weird. Okay, I digress. Anything else you want to add?
Nah, I think that's it.
Women's soccer. Andrew Wiggins, Chris Bosh, Miami Vice.
Next week we're coming in hot.
What do we got next week? Playmakers?
I don't know. There's going to be some sports
Oh, you
announcements
think there's going to be a
next
big
week.
time announcement?
Got to be something. Yeah,
right.
we need something.
We'll keep an ear out. Let us know questions, comments, concerns. Eldon, I know you got something you're thinking about this whole episode, so fire away. Sports Buffet, whatever number this was, I don't know, No, we're higher than 17, right?
I thought you were gonna say 70.
No, that would be a lot of sports buffets. Do you know what number offhand?
I don't know.
It's like I would guess 18, but I'm probably wrong.
Yeah.
Sports buffet 18 with a question mark. Hope everybody's staying fine in their quarantine. Stay safe and stay sportified.
Be chill.
Peace.